Hello, I'm Ben Keaton, and this is Dirty Stupid Wisdom. Recently I've been thinking that humans are one of the very few species that are unlikely to be eaten alive. Nature, Our Greatest Enemy, by Ben Keaton. I've been forced to go on country walks all my life by people who proclaim some sort of mystical benefits. The rolling hills, the valleys, forests and rivers, and I get it. They're big, well done. That's what happens when you leave things alone. Animals shit all over the place and stuff grows. That's the actual cycle of life. Shit, growth, shit. It's not majestic. It's disgusting. It's the film Disney are too scared to make. Recently, I was house-sitting at a friend's farm, so decided to get up early and take their dog for a walk. It turns out a lot has already happened by 9:30. The cows were milked for one. That was a disappointment. I wanted to have a go, or at least I would if I could work them out. Cows confuse me. So the thing underneath with the nipples, is that a breast? I mean, one big breast with four long nipples. Is that the gig? Or does a cow have breasts and doesn't bother using them? Anyway, it's awful. It's just awful. I'm a city boy. Some of the happiest moments of my life have been inhaling exhaust fumes at the side of the road or ambling around a shopping centre. And my time on a farm made me realise that farming is actually an industry. For example, a barn is not an aesthetically pleasing construction. It's a giant, dark, breeze block and corrugated iron mausoleum with a roll-down shutter like a H. Samuel would have in a shopping centre you might get stabbed in. And what's in these things anyway? Well, planks of wood covered in creosote and a few tractors from the Cold War era. Oh, yes, and rats. Oh, but not one or two, like you'd see around chip shop bins. No. Thousands. Literally thousands. If you lift anything off the ground, you'll find 300 staring at you. They scattered on seeing the dog. But she got one, and she shook it to bits. The soundtrack was like this. Dog. Rat. Oh my God. I mean, awful. Just awful. And here's another realization. Animals just shit themselves wherever they're standing. Cows, goats, horses, sheep, they just let it go. They're shameless about it. They could be looking at you right in the face and you're patting the thing and you're thinking, well, maybe nature isn't so bad after all. And at that very moment, they dump a lorry load out the back. Just let it spill out without a thought. And have you ever seen a horse piss? Huh? No? Well, I'm not surprised. There isn't a mention of it in Black Beauty, that's for sure. It just gushes out, like a bath tap on full. And the hot tap at that. Boiling, stinking, gushing piss with a smell that would blind you. And the thing just looks at you with those big brown eyes expecting it to give it a carrot. Are you out of your mind? Oh, feck off, horse. Yes, nature is vast and impressive, but I'm happier when it's stupid, like those videos online. I like the cat hanging from the clothesline. I like the screaming goat, the fish that jumps on the boat, the parrot that tells you to sod off. That's my kind of nature. Dumb nature. It's that other stuff. The conspiracy of ants that cross a river by creating a suspension bridge with their bodies. Killer whales that hunt in packs and blow hoops of air to make fish confused. Jumping spiders who jump right at you when logically they should just feck off. Now, you may wonder how I have become so adverse to nature, and it wasn't one event, of course. A belief as strong as mine is based on a broad range of experiences. First off, my father took me on walks that never ended. He'd pitch them as a stroll, suggesting a walk to the bottom of the road, an ice cream, and a shoulder ride home. The reality was an hour of a drive to the back end of some shit-arse mountain and a steep climb through briars to a view obscured by drizzle, followed by a march back to the car reminiscent of something that the POWs were forced to do in the Malaysian jungle. All the while, my knitted jumper taking on water and doubling my body weight. Bees now. Let's talk bees. Bees are lovely, aren't they? All the good they do, pollinating and that. Well, Dad had a beehive in the garden. Therefore, I got stung on the nose. The nose is your second most sensitive organ. It was agony. My father put purple iodine on it. I looked like a tearful 9-year-old alcoholic. But my most traumatic natural experience was this. My brother decided to breed mice for money, for medical experimentation. This was a less enlightened time when young entrepreneurs were encouraged to smoke cigarettes and comb Vaseline through their hair. He built a shed for them in the back garden, put a lock on it to keep me out, and left them to their mouse fornication. It sounded like this. Man mouse. Woman mouse. The weather was good that summer. That shed was a paradise for them. It was like Club 1830 if it was weeks, not years. They shagged night and day. 4 soon became 40. I kept an eye on them through the wire mesh for educational purposes. They would shag anything. I once saw one mounting a water dispenser. Unfortunately, that same summer, my brother met a girl, and he took to a little mouse fornication of his own. Next thing, he started missing the morning feed, then the evening feed, then the weekend feed. I was angry with Tom. I went searching among his things for the key, but I couldn't find it. I just couldn't find it. 40 mice became 38. 32, 26, 20. Less and less mice, but no bodies. At least none that I could see through the wire. And I watched. Day after day, I'd run out to the shed straight after breakfast and stand on a stool to peer in. The mice became more and more agitated. Fearful, I think, of something, of each other. It was horrible, but I was transfixed. Again, I searched for the key. I looked in the case under my brother's bed. Nothing but swimwear catalogues and pictures of Dana winning Eurovision. By the time 15 became 8, I set up camp outside the shed, but I saw nothing suspicious. Whatever horror was happening was at night, when I was tucked up. Then, over a bank holiday weekend, when teenage couples go camping, and Tom was away, cuddling, 8 became 3. What I discovered that morning was horrific. 2 terrified mice in one corner, and opposite them, one fat, demonic cannibal. His red eyes were protruded from his skull like strawberries. His 2 teeth brown and chipped. He ignored them, wobbled to his nest, rolled onto his back and fell asleep, his pink stomach rising and falling like a balloon being filled by a foot pump. And beside him, like a snack saved for later, a small, pink, bony tail. I was watching a lot of Twilight Zone at the time. This was a match for its darkest moments. And then I noticed something. under my sandal a stone, and under the stone a key. I held it in my fingers and knew that I alone could save those 2 terrified mice. I alone could end this unspeakable horror. Dad took us to Bantry for a week, a little bungalow overlooking the bay. It rained, so I wasn't there for his last meal. And I know I should feel guilty, but I learned something profound from this. Nature is a slave to itself. The fox will eat the rabbit. The magpie steal a parent. The volcano will swallow the town. The inevitable will happen. Life ends when nature is done with us. Shakespeare, Beethoven, Einstein will all be forgotten before a single stone is worn away. That's what I figured out at the age of 8. We're all idiots to think that we can outsmart nature, because the most natural thing in the world is extinction. But let me end with this stonkingly brilliant irony. You see, boys and girls, on that final day, when our cannibal mouse swallowed his last tail, the dreadful truth dawned on him. The contented smile wilted as the dreaded reality of his situation was unveiled. There he was, alone, with nothing more to eat, and yet as fat as a plum. Poor little mousie. How long must he wait for death, when he himself had been sustained by the lives of his mousy fraternity, their ghostly squeaking tormenting the dark hours of night? How he must have prayed that my horny brother would tire of his new love, Roisin, or Siobhan, or Maeve, or something else unspellable. Did he try to throw himself down the chute head first in the hope of snapping his neck, only to land softly in depths of sweet-smelling sawdust? Did he chew at the wire till his teeth snapped like twigs, leaving him gummy? Did his skin loosen till it draped itself around his feet like a white hotel bath towel? Did he climb in the toilet roll, pulling some tissue behind him, and wait for death, as Samuel Beckett might have done if he had been writing plays for mice? We forgot the shed. Or rather, we ignored it. My brother broke up with Shorsa. He'd spelt her name wrong on a Valentine's card, and she couldn't forgive him. When I played in the garden, I couldn't look at the shed. Because, you see, I too was responsible for what went on there. That is why I hate nature. Because I hate myself and the thing I did. During the pandemic, I was invited to make a promotional video for Grimsby Minster. Now, I didn't know Grimsby, and I'm not a very religious person. Perhaps they are exactly the right ingredients for such a thing. This is a reading of the work. It's by the very excellent Gemma Baker.
When the sea was young, when the Danes packed up their shields and skins, and Mrs. Dane said, "Hurry back when you've discovered Grimsby," to my open arms. When they landed off Birkham sands and built their huts a yard inland, and Havelock breathed fire at night, and Grim was worried at the sight, and never thought they'd use his name to build a town and bring him fame. When the cranes of Union Dock heaved the wool, wine and wheat, the turf and turbines, the cars, saltfish, whale oil, pork and tulips, the container ships and bobbing boats bloated with catch kissing the dock wall with a scratch. And did you miss me? On the open sea, all the time that you were free, in my loving arms. Before the mighty mariners saw a ball, they kicked a bladder off the wall and dreamed a dream of winning all. The match, the pie, the goal, the cheer, and beer after beer after beer after beer. And I love the club, despite it all, no matter how the mighty fall. When the bombs were dropping, and she hid beneath the table, hugging Tommy, Arthur and her sister Mabel, and perished with the 95 who never thought they would have died 2 years before in 45. And the Grimsby boys who fought for better, and the girls tanning holster leather, and all the heroes of this war too. The doctors, nurses and carers who take us to their loving arms. And every house, like every other, shoulder to shoulder, sister and brother, the Kumars, the Millers, Dixons and Finns, Kowalska, the shop owner selling odd things in tins, florists and jewellers, barbers and bookies, the soul of the town with myriad faces. And right at its heart we planted a minster, in a swirl of shops and bustle and banter. Stone by stone, over 900 years, for now and tomorrow, through laughter and tears, into your loving arms.
Thank you for joining me on Dirty Stupid Wisdom. I hope you've enjoyed this. Do please tell your friends. I would love to have more company here. The algorithm loves it, and it soars up the charts. Soars, honestly. It would be fantastic, though. And you can subscribe. It's available, of course, on Apple Music and Spotify and Amazon, all the major outlets. So, till next time.